Okay, so let's continue with the lecture. So this is lecture 2, the next part. So I have just drawn the same circuit again. Cos t ut is a forcing function, volts, 4 ohm, 2 Henry, and the steady state current is to be found, which we did a magic and came up with this expression. Again, we have not yet learned why do we do this, why the magic takes place. We will do this that later on. I'm just trying to keep you busy so that during this time when you don't have any commute or trouble traveling to the university and wasting time, you can spend a real good time in trying to doing things that will come in handy later on. And here I have plotted that Vt. So you see Vt is a cosine that completes a cycle in 2 pi time. It starts exactly at the peak of this waveform. It's not very accurate, but we expect everyone to draw reasonably accurately looking graphs whenever required. So when a question says you have to draw graphs, you should be able to draw reasonably accurate graphs. This may not look very, in a way, what do we call, identical looking on both sides of this midpoint, but actually I have to sit at an angle in order to write straight in the video. Anyway, it's still pretty acceptable. Okay, so this is a complete cycle is of 360 degrees or 2 pi radians, and the half of it is pi, and we know that cosine of 0 is 1, cosine of pi is minus 1, cosine of 2 pi is again 1, and this point is pi by 2. This point is pi by 2. This point is pi. This point is 3 pi by 2. So this is 90 degrees, 180, 270 and 360. So half of this would be 45 degrees. Now you see, if we like to plot this one, I think I should go and get a blue ballpoint just to not mix things up with this voltage curve, as I would like to draw the current curve on this graph for us to understand what this minus 26.6 degrees mean and what does this mean. Okay, I'm back with a blue ballpoint. I want to draw this right on top of this graphs so as we can compare both graphs, so cos t and this thing. It is still a cos t, but its amplitude is not between 1 and minus 1, it's between these 2 points. And then it is delayed. This negative sign says it's a delay. How much? By this amount. So if this is 1, this height is 1, the midpoint would be 0.5, and if this further point would be 0.25. So if we have this point as 0.5, then this point would be 0.25 minus 0.25. Although I would like to draw a bigger graph and not such a small amplitude one, because it would not be that clear, but I will explain that point later on, that when we are trying to plot two different quantities on the same graph, we can have different scales. So we can still draw this, maybe drawn a larger than this one, and say that the scale for current is different. Anyway, let us stick to the same scale for now. So 1 volt, this is scale for 1 volt, and this 0.2236 would be slightly less than this, which I cannot draw, but let us assume that I can. So if this sinusoid cos t is just attenuated, reduced in amplitude, it will be something like this. It will be something like this, right? But it's not that we just need to draw that sinusoid. We also have to delay it by 26.6. So if this is 90 degree, this much is 45 degrees, and the half of it would be like 22.5, so something slightly greater than this. So instead of starting from here, it starts from here. So it starts from here. The half of it and the half of it, it crosses 0 here. It crosses 0 here, and so on. So it starts from here, goes down, crosses 0, goes to the minimum value somewhere here after pi, and then crosses here, then goes to the max somewhere here, and then drops down. You see, so it is a delayed cosine wave, and it comes back like this. Again, at t is equal to 0, we know because of the transient part that it will actually not be like this. It will attain this waveform, nice looking waveform, after a certain time, after the transient part is over. But we are assuming we are in the steady state. In steady state, it will look something like this. So what you really see, you see, let me go back to the black ball point. What you really see is that the current is lagging the voltage. So this is a very important result. Why? Because of the behavior of the inductor. What does the inductor do? Inductor resists sudden change in current. So what we were given with? A voltage. So when the voltage forcing function tries to say, okay, I am going to make this current flow, inductor says, no, I am going to resist that flow. But it resists only for the part known as the transient part, and sort of its resistance ends when the transient part is over and a steady state current flows. But here things are a bit different. The forcing function is continuously changing. So the inductor continuously changes to that. So the inductor, what does the inductor say to the sinusoidal source? That I am going to follow you but not quite match you. I will make the current lag behind you because I resist sudden change in current. So while you want the current, this forcing function wants the current to be peak here because it is peak here itself, but the inductor says no, I will come to the peak later on. How much later depends on the value of these two components. So it is 26.6 degrees for these two values. So if we increase the value of inductance here, my gut feeling says this lag is going to increase. And if we decrease the value, this is going to decrease. If we keep decreasing this, and make it 0 Henry, so there is no inductance in the circuit, what do you think the value would be? 0. So there will be no lag. And 0.2236 or some other value cos of t would be left. So the current would also peak here, which should be the case when the circuit is resistive. No inductance here. No one is opposing the change in current. So current will no longer lag. And if we decrease this or increase this too much, if we decrease this to 0, the circuit will be purely inductive. So what do we get here? An inductor that says, oh, I am going to lag as much as possible. And we will soon, inshallah, come to see that if this is a purely inductive circuit, this lag can only go up to 90 degrees and cannot lag further. 90 degree is the maximum lag. So whatever this value of phi is, this phi for a inductive circuit will always lie between minus 90 degrees. I'm taking this negative sign in the phi as well, and 0 degrees. So this is the case of a pure inductance, and this is the case of a pure resistance, and it satisfied my intuition, and I hope you should understand this as well. I hope you can take up different values and try to prove this and be able to draw these graphs as well. So what I want from you is that take up different circuits just for your own exercise and see how will these things be computed, and what will happen to this value. So it was 1 here, it attenuated, it reduced in the magnitude, and there was no angle here, it was a pure cosine, but there an angle came into play. So what happens when, say, we change the value of this inductance to 4 Henry? What is going to happen if we change the value of this inductance to say 4 Henry? So solve it with this. Take L1 as 4 Henry and R1 as 4 ohms as well. But R1 is 0, so it is shorted out, no resistance in the circuit. And what's going to happen when the inductor is removed and shorted and the resistance is 4 ohms? So purely resistive circuit, purely inductive, and a mix of both. And because based on these values, I can predict that this angle phi, if you solve it, is going to be minus 45 degrees. And for this, obviously, phi is going to be minus 90 degrees. And for this, 0 degrees. So solve it for yourself. And then once you have done this, as part of the class activity, I would like you to solve for this. I am not going to cover that in class. It is left as an exercise for you. I know you hate books when they say this, and obviously you are going to hate the teacher for the same reason, but you missed the very important points of learning, that whenever you are going to use your brain yourself without any guidance, that is when you really understand that learning happens. So take a 4 ohm resistance and a capacitor now, say of value 0.5 farad. Now solve this and remember that try to find the same steady state current through these components, and remember that when the just one point, that when the magic happens, the capacitor is going to become equal to 1 over whatever the value there is with an iota. Iota is J now, 0.5, and the unit changes to ohm. And this thing can also be written as minus iota. So 1 over iota is minus iota. So a negative imaginary value is capacitive reactance, XC, and the units ohm. Rest you can do for yourself. At the end, draw a circuit for voltage, the plot for voltage, and then the current you have found for this circuit, try to plot that on top of that with a different colored pen as well. And let me see if I can wake my son up and try to learn that complex calculation thing on the calculator. If I am able to do that, I am adding that to the same video, else I will upload a different video for that. Well, luckily he was awake, and I found the error. It was a simple one. So this I basically signifies that we are in the complex mode. How do we attain that? We don't have to press that shift. That sets the output mode actually. This one. When we press shift and this and say number format, it is for input and output, but we may not go in the so this 2 may not set the, let me first set the so the calculator basically initially is in this mode. So when you say shift and setup and you go in the complex and set the rectangular form here, you don't get that I here. We have to go, for that we have to go in the complex mode, and for that you don't press shift and setup, but setup alone. Setup. Now here are the different modes, the addition, subtraction, and here is the complex mode 2. So we select 2. Now that I appears, and the I was already there when I was telling you the last time. However, I was not writing the number in the correct form. While here we prefer to write things as 4 plus j iota 2, but on the calculator says write in this fashion, iota after the imaginary value. This was my mistake. So 4 plus 2 iota. So if you press is equal to, you get this number, and if you press this ST, I hope here the output mode really matters, because I want the number to be in the polar form as well. Anyway, let us try to do the sum now. So the sum that we were doing was 1 divided by, so we have this complex number here, 4 plus 2 iota, and we got the answer. That's it. So we got that fractions in decimals, that's all. But I want that rectangular value to be in the polar form. So how to do that? I think there must be a mode for that as well. So let's go to the output modes now. What's this input output? I can't understand that. So let's go to the complex mode, and let's choose 2. I don't understand, but a triangle basically had appeared here. Let us see. 1 plus 4 plus 2 iota. Oh, we got something like this. Oh, this is addition. Actually, I want to divide this thing. 4 plus 2 iota. Got this result, and it is in polar form. So you see, we set the polar form output there, and we can convert to the rectangular form. This is the rectangular form. Remember, 0.2236, and the angle is in radians. Remember, we forgot to handle that radian. Let us see if we can convert that to degrees, angle unit, and degrees, and see if the result now give the angles in degrees. So the angle in degrees now, and this is okay. So this is not in the rectangular form, sorry, it is still in the polar form, but in the decimal form. This is in the simplified expression. how to get the rectangular form? I think there must be some shortcut for that, and I believe you can figure that out on your own, because going all the way and going to set the output mode would take up a lot of time. I fancy there must be some shortcut here. So I can see polar form and rectangular form here. So this is the polar form. So let us try to use this shift and this REC. Well, actually nothing happened. Nothing. Okay, if I learn anything new, I will share that later on. So happy going this through this lecture number 2, and as I have mentioned earlier, your attendance will only be counted if you write elaborate notes of these lectures and try to do all the problems that I have mentioned in the lecture. For example, try to solve for these. You must do this because this is part of the lecture. If I would have been teaching in class, I would like you to do this on your notebooks. So you do this, take the lecture notes, do these problems, and then snap and make one PDF and submit as required. Without that, you will be marked absent in the lecture.